Reggie, I just sold my car online.
Let's go, Grandpa. Wait, you did?
Yep, on Carvana. Just put in the license plate, answered a few questions, got an offer in minutes. Easier than setting up that new digital picture frame.
You don't say.
Yeah, they're even picking it up tomorrow. Talk about fast.
Wow, way to go. So, about that picture frame.
Forget about it. Until Carvana makes one, I'm not interested.
Car selling made easy. On
Carvana.
pickup fees may apply.
Experience a membership that backs what you're building with American Express Business Platinum. Unlock over $3,500 in business and travel value annually with statement credits on select purchases from brands like Dell, Hilton, and Adobe, and other benefits. American Express Business Platinum. There's nothing like it. Based on total potential value of statement credits on select purchases and other benefits, enrollments required, monthly and other limits and terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum.
I'm Richard Serrett. Join me on Strange Planet for in-depth conversations with the world's top paranormal investigators, alien abductees, Bigfoot trackers, monster hunters, time travelers, and more.
The handler one day told her this whole thing about how they've been terraforming on Mars and they're building a colony and they're recruiting specific people of specific bloodlines and specific talents and skill sets to go onto the planet.
On Richard Serrett's Strange Planet, we're redefining reality. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay, if I find news that the Cleveland Hopkins International Airport adds a Greece direct flight, then I will believe it. I will believe the rumors.
This I don't get, man. They call it Cleveland Hopkins International Airport? Mm-hmm. International. Mm-hmm. Nah, man.
They can fly to Canada?
Oh, okay.
I guess.
It's not that far.
That is such a leap to call that airport international.
Charlotte has flights. They just added flights to Athens, but it's seasonal. So it's only in the summer that you can get over to Athens direct from Charlotte. And that's an American Airlines hub. And so when people are like, ooh, can the Charlotte Hornets get Giannis? I was like, ooh, during the winter when you want to go back home for a little bit, maybe send the kids over for Christmas, what have you, during Greek Easter.
This is always one of my favorite things. It's like it always comes back down to Giannis. He's Greek. He wants to be around Greek people. And I'm like, does he really? Is he that starved for Greek culture? I think culturally in his house, Giannis has to feel more Nigerian than he does Greek, right? Oh, he pines for this land where he was homeless, being chased by cops and stuff.
Whoa, what's this Greek slander over here?
Oh, he had to sell trinkets on the road and all these racist Greek people telling him to go back to his country. That's the culture I wish I was around more people like that.
Have you seen him playing for the Greek national basketball team?
No, I get it. But there's a difference between playing much in the same way that if Joel Embiid ended up playing overseas and he's like, oh man, I just want to go to a city that's a lot of Americans. I'm going to be around some Americans versus people who he culturally identifies with, you know? Now, he still's like, I love playing for Team USA. I just don't see this demand to just be surrounded by souvlaki and Greek Orthodox churches and stuff like that. I don't understand it.
Can't do it out of Charlotte, but you can do it in certain cities. I'm wondering, is Chicago on that list? Because, Maze, wasn't there something about how Chicago was going to land Giannis and the gambling markets totally flipped?
Yes, that's right, Tom. From January 28th, the odds on DraftKings Sportsbook for Giannis to the Bulls was plus 6,000. Then on Sunday, it was plus 4,000. Then all the way up to Monday, plus 275. Now, I know what you're thinking. Giannis to Chicago. What's the movement there? What could possibly be influencing that type of betting action?
Why did that happen?
Tom, this is a classic case of when using your third eye goes wrong. Because we've got two news stories that attach Giannis to the city of Chicago, which I'll point out to everybody at home is simply 90 minutes down the coast of Lake Michigan from Milwaukee. So it's not like that's a tough trip for him to make.
Right.
First, his family acquired an apartment building.
Okay.
The Ante Company, comprised of Giannis and his brothers.
Oh.
They acquired some North Side apartments, and that news broke also on January 28th. But the problem is that they've been doing this pretty consistently. They've been buying apartment buildings in Wisconsin. They've been buying apartment buildings in Chicago. They've done that before because they've got a lot of money and they're investing in real estate. This is not for him to live in. This is a business opportunity. And then the second one, which is even better, is somebody, an intrepid reporter in the field at a Greek Orthodox church, spotted Giannis in Chicago. So he went to a Chicago Greek Orthodox church.
I stand corrected.
There it is.
He's really Greek.
He's really Greek.
That apparently is enough to move the line.
I love this. This Giannis saga is going swell. It's going really well, guys. I saw Bomani Jones liken it to when Dwight Howard wanted Stan Van Gundy fired and he didn't realize it when he walked up and Stan was doing a press conference and he tried to, little finger his way out of this.
The only thing I'm ever uncomfortable with is bullshit, and so to come in and no comment or deny that it's true and everything. I mean, the only thing, I guess, David, that ever liberates me is just, be honest and deal with what's out there. Some people have a hard time with that, I guess, but to me, that's a lot easier to deal with than bullshit.
What is your sense when you talk to management? Will they listen to him or will it be a management?
Oh, I have no idea. They can, obviously it'll be a management decision. They have to make the decision, but I ain't worried about that. So.
Yeah, Stan, we're not worried about that, right?
That's what I just said. We got to be worried about winning games.
Yeah, what's our main concern right now? Jameer.
We have to stop Carmelo Anthony and the New York Knicks today.
And the New York Knicks.
That's exactly
That's
right.
the plan, right?
That is the plan. That's what I just said.
Is Dave Ping here today? The guy who started this BS?
I don't see Ping here.
Me neither.
Are you guys done with me?
Yeah. That's all.
You can talk to him now. All right.
Dwight, are the stories true about?
Come on, man. Yeah, the stories from Dave Ping are true.
Stan just said they were true.
Yeah. What's true?
Stan just said that you wanted them fired.
I said that?
Yeah, that's what Stan said.
Who did I say that to?
According to Mark.
I'm just telling you.
I'm asking you, since you guys got so many sources.
Your coach said he heard it from Manny.
I didn't hear anything.
I'm just telling you.
And I'm just telling you.
It didn't work out for Dwight Howard, that whole thing, and leaving Orlando. Not the most likable guy, as Bomani pointed out, and it didn't work out for him. The Damian Lillard one is what most people point to.
Well, hold on. I'd like to point out, Dwight Howard once was a very likable guy. And that seemed to be the thing that turned the table on him and made him unlikable.
Right. That's the point, is that Giannis is choosing a door in which it turned a very likable superstar into an unlikable superstar.
Yeah.
And the whole narrative changed after that. And that is the door that Giannis is going through. Whereas he could just blow things up and say, I want to trade him in. I'm out of here. It's run its course. He doesn't want to do that. Look, we can go to Vince Carter in Toronto. We can go
Melo.
James Harden at every stop of the way.
Melo in Denver.
I don't know. I mean, is there a good way to handle this in your perspective? Like Giannis should be?
No, that's the whole point. I guess the only way is that when you've been so abused in your career. So, for instance, Kevin Garnett.
KG
didn't lose it, but it was because he literally waited until it was almost too late. And when you think about it, they won a championship that first year in Boston. And what happened after that? His body broke down. Could not keep it together for 82 games at a high level anymore after that. So he literally got the one last hurrah in. Barkley, people were angry at him for wanting out of Philly, but when he got to Phoenix, he was so amazing. And obviously Barkley is a one of one when it comes to personality. It worked out for him. Shaquille O'Neal, forcing his way to LA and then forcing his way to Miami. In both instances, he was able to regain his popularity, whatever was lost in the moment.
You would say that's another one of one personality situation.
And like Charles, was amazing, right? He goes to LA, he wins MVP, and they win championships. He goes to Miami, he wins a championship. They're instantly credibility in a way that they hadn't had in quite a while. And then they win a championship in his second year there. So it's a combination of when you get moved, A, are you incredible? But B, you better have a personality, man. Better have a personality that shines. Because in many of these cases, Dwight moved, wasn't incredible. Had a personality, wasn't incredible. Kevin Durant moved, incredible, no personality. Not a likable one, at least. So all of these guys are missing one or the other. And the ones who had both, they're the ones who prosper.
I think I'm just going to spend the next 24 hours looking at direct flights. Because someone reported that one of the reasons why he picked the New York Knicks was to be able to fly direct to Athens really quickly at the drop of a hat.
I refuse to believe he's that fucking homesick.
The slander.
I refuse to believe it.
Tom.
This is unreal.
Tom.
How much hate he has for Greece.
Have you ever heard of a private jet?
To Greece?
He's Giannis.
Man.
You see Pluribus? He get Air Force One up in here. He could do that for real.
So now people are going to be flight aware, just like they are with these real estate deals. They're going to be looking at how many deals he has for private jets. Is that the next thing?
When Auntie buys a jet, it's over.
It's over.
He can go anywhere.
Anywhere. Even Cleveland Hopkins International Airport.
My assignment. Uncover why the association inspires more conspiracy theories in volume and salience than any other U.S. sport.
You've heard of the Illuminati.
The truth is out there, but so are lies.
Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them.
The NBA has always been controlled by about 8 people.
Denial is the most predictable of all human responses.
If you're only using 10% of your brain, you don't even know that you're using 10% of your brain.
The NBA Illuminati.
If coincidences are just coincidences, why do they feel so contrived?
The Illuminati.
But you start to follow the money, and you don't know where the f*** it's going to take you.
It is unspoken. They have influence among other players.
The NBA Illuminati.
I don't have time for your convenient ignorance.
Maybe I'm a conspiracist now as well.
That's all it took. Oh, we got books, we got schools. You saw a video on YouTube.
Why my eyes, sir? I've never used them before.
We are the Basketball Illuminati.
This is Basketball Illuminati. I am Tom Haberstroh, and as always, we are joined by the 5-star Illuminati generals, Amin Elhassan and producer Anthony Mays.
What's up, Illumination? Thank you for keeping your third eye open. As always, you can support us at patreon.com/countthedings. That'll get you ad-free episodes and help us continue to produce the show. Also, check out our YouTube page at Basketball Illuminati. You can watch our Truth Teller interviews and Do You Believe episodes there. Please subscribe and continue to show your support. Thank you.
We've got a great truth teller guest. As of now, James Harden has not been traded, but Mays, you can clip this out and put in your own trade update.
He would, in fact, get traded. That's the Mays update voice.
Wow, James Harden got traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. We've got Law Murray to give you all of the stuff before it happened, how we got to this point. Law Murray from The Athletic joining us as a returnee, a 2-time truth teller.
You know how Pablo does it. Pablo will literally, when we're recording, he'll say, and we reached out to the Clippers and they denied comment. And we reached out to the Clippers and they had this to say. And we reached out to the Clippers and they still haven't reached out back to us. He does this every single time.
I'm Pablo Torre from Pablo Torre Finds Out. And we're going to find out what this sounds like. So Law Murray going to join us to talk about how James Harden got waived by the Clippers. Wow.
And Law Murray is going to join us to talk about how James Harden is still a Clipper for the next 24 hours because this episode comes out on Wednesday.
All right, Law Murray about to join us here to talk about how we got to this point when James Harden called Lawrence Frank a liar to a group of Chinese fans.
Stunning update. James Harden is now a Sacramento King.
To talk about all that and more, how we got to this point is Law Murray from The Athletic, season number 17. But first,
you are listening to The Agenda with Amin Elhassan and Tom Haberstroh.
Who's the most fined player in NBA history?
Rashid, right?
Is he?
I mean, he's the most technicals, and you get a 2K hit every time you get a text.
Ron Artest, get in the mix for A whole season?
Oh, because of the suspension. Yeah.
Or is inflation crushed him?
Well, we have a story here that broke on...
Oh my God. This is the best answer possible.
What?
Ben Simmons forfeited more than $19 million stemming from team and league penalties related to his holdout and missed games with the Sixers during the 21-22 season.
Okay. But was that taken off the cap is really the question. If the team suspends a player, I don't think it gets taken off the cap, right? I mean, it has to be a league suspension.
Yeah, a league suspension is what gets you relief.
Rasheed Wallace, 8 times for a total of $205,000. Vlad Radmanovich.
No way.
Fined $500K in 2007 for injuring his shoulder while snowboarding. Phil Jackson, as a coach, fined 8 times for $380,000. Mark Cuban, 20 times, $2.24 million.
I think that's your answer.
25 games. Well, I guess it's the inflation of today's. I guess you would do a percentage of the cap who's been suspended or fined by a percentage of the cap, because right now we have Paul George is going to lose approximately $12 million of his $52 million salary, or about $470,000 for each of the 25 games missed, according to ESPN.
Tom, I should clarify, though, that we're not talking about fines. We're talking about suspensions in the case of Paul George. And in that case, he's passing Gilbert Arenas, who lost more than $7 million in salary for bringing guns to the locker room with Javaris Crittenton and was suspended for 50 games. Passing Ron Artest, about $4.5 million for the Mouse in the Palace, 86 games. And Latrell Sprewell, 68 game suspension for choking PJ Carlesimo at upwards of $4 million in salary.
Tim Bontemps with that story. He was suspended on Saturday for 25 games without pay for violating the NBA's anti-drug policy. And in a statement to ESPN Shams Charania, Paul George said, quote, "Over the past 4 years, I've discussed the importance of mental health. And in the course of recently seeking treatment for an issue of my own, I made the mistake of taking an improper medication. I take full responsibility for my actions and apologize to the Sixers organization, my teammates, and the Philly fans for my poor decision-making during this process. I am focused on using this time to make sure that my mind and body are in the best condition to help the team when I return."
Bullshit.
There's a lot there. If it's a mental health issue, which he is citing here, don't you think the NBA would be like, okay, if it is a mental health thing that you got a prescription for, it is not an improper medication. So he knowingly took something that was on the banned list. And this isn't a PED situation because this is an anti-drug policy, not a performance-enhancing punishment. So throw that out. He took a drug he was not allowed to use and did not have a prescription.
Or had a prescription that was obtained outside of the context of the team dynamic. Because I tell people all the time, it's not like regular people are like, I don't feel so good. I went to my doctor. He prescribed me this. I popped a pill and then I got drug tested. What? That's not how it works in the NBA. In the NBA, I don't feel so good. I go through the team medical staff. The team medical staff will then get me to the specialist I need to see. When the medicine is prescribed, the team medical staff double checks to make sure, hey, none of this is on the banned list. And so it's all vetted. So the only way you could test positive for something for a medication, either circumvented it by going to a doctor outside of the thing, or you circumvented it by not getting a prescription, getting off the black market.
Tom, you don't feel sympathetic to him for his mental health issue? So callous of you.
I feel like if the NBA is banning you for 25 games, they've already done the homework, and this is not a mental health thing. You took a drug, and Paul George is not a new player in the NBA.
Yeah.
This is a guy who knows the rules, and he's one of the biggest stars in the league. The drugs of abuse, according to the NBA CBA, the things that are banned. I am no pharmacist, so I'm going to butcher some of these names.
Oh, baby, the pharmacist!
Benzodiazepines, which is Xanax, Klonopin, Valium, Ativan.
I can guarantee he's not taking one of those. He'd be sleepwalking out there if he took one of those.
Synthetic cathinones. I don't know what these are. Cocaine, DMT, LSD.
Oh, now we're getting fun.
I take Quaaludes 10 to 15 times a day for my back pain, Adderall to stay focused, Xanax to take the edge off, pot to mellow me out, cocaine to wake me back up again, and morphine, well, because it's awesome.
Ketamine, GHB.
I can't get date raped.
Moving on, methamphetamine, MDMA, MDA, and MDEA. Also in that list, opiates. So heroin, codeine, morphine, oxycodone, Percocet, Vicodin, Lortab.
We had 2 bags of grass, 75 pellets of mescaline, 5 sheets of high-powered blotter acid, a salt shaker half full of cocaine, a whole galaxy of multicolored uppers, downers, screamers, laughers.
Methadone, hydromorphone, basically Dilaudid, fentanyl, dextromoramide. You get the idea.
The pharmacist!
Oh, diuretics as well on here. And that's what I believe DeAndre Ayton got caught up with a few years ago.
Yes, he did.
So, I don't feel super sympathetic to the idea that this is a mental health issue, even though he's come out, and I think it was a very smart move, is to come out and say this is a mental health issue.
Yeah.
But something went horribly wrong here, that Paul George got pinched for 25 games at this point in his career.
Horribly wrong for Paul George. Horribly convenient for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Open your third eye.
Walk with me. Talk with me, if you will.
Okay.
$12 million in estimated fine for Paul George?
Yeah.
So we started this segment by pointing out Ben Simmons is the most fined monetary value player in the history of the NBA because of the suspension that he had when he was making $39 million and not playing for the Sixers. But when it is a team suspension, every one of those dollars counts towards the cap and counts towards a luxury tax. In the case of Paul George, it's a league suspension. So the salary withheld from him as a result of said suspension is also withheld off the books, meaning the Sixers got salary and by virtue of the tax relief from Paul George's suspension, which brings them all of a sudden within call it 1.3, because we're old friends. $1.3 million of getting not out of the aprons, out of the luxury tax altogether.
According to ESPN's Bobby Marks, within this news story, he reports that Philadelphia will save more than $5 million in luxury tax payments as a part of this suspension, leaving the team a little over $1 million over the threshold, making it easier for the 76ers to dip out of the tax this week without harming the roster. Amin, your third eye is wide open on this.
Wide open. The amount in total is $1.262331 million. A quick perusal of the Sixers roster reveals that Johnny Broom, the young center
from Auburn,
is a rookie, makes $1.272 million.
Pack your bags for Brooklyn, buddy.
Sweep him out of here.
You trade him, you are no longer a taxpayer. That's cool, right? Oh, we don't have to send this extra money to the league. But here's another part that people don't talk about. Oh, what's this? Oh, in this envelope, a little thing called a luxury tax disbursement from the league. When you are not a taxpayer, you get to share in the luxury tax disbursements that happen. A quick look, shout out to my people at Spotrac. Spot Track?
Spot Rack.
The tax tracker. 4 teams that are close enough to getting out of the tax. Philly is one of them. Toronto is one. Denver is one. Phoenix is one. You have 10 teams. I would say it'd be a heavy lifting to get out of the tax. Those 10 teams combined, $397.67 million in total. It's not exactly divided by 30 because the NBA takes a little cut for processing.
Right, but it's not divided by 30 anyway because the teams that are paying into the tax don't actually get any of those disbursements.
It's divided by 30, but you only get 1/30th if you're a non-taxpayer.
Oh.
And the league takes the rest.
The league takes the rest, yes.
That's smart.
Now what you going to do, Mr. Statistician Face Man?
So roughly $13 million.
Wow.
Give or take.
So it's an $18 million swing.
Yes. You went from the bad to the good. And I say that because Cleveland had a deal, obviously, this week where they sent DeAndre Hunter to Sacramento for Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder. A lot of people have focused on the basketball part of it, and that's fine. How you agree, you don't agree. A lot of people focus on, they got out of DeAndre Hunter's $25 million next year. But the part that a lot of people have missed because they have not worked for an organization that is obsessed with fucking luxury tax all the goddamn time is every deal you do as a luxury tax paying team, you are simultaneously focused on how this changes our financial projections for the year we're in. Every deal we did in Phoenix as luxury taxpayers, even when we're talking about getting Kevin Garnett, which we knew was going to be a home run deal, you had to express it as X amount of million either to the bad or to the good. In this case, Cleveland went to the good, meaning Schroeder and Keon Ellis combined make less than what DeAndre Hunter makes this season, meaning that their tax bill declined significantly for this season. And anytime you can do a deal as a front office where, hey, we got better, boss, and also, oh, by the way, I got a little check for you right here, a little checky poo of money that we saved, you are always a hero.
So I'm a little confused, I guess. They're still paying Paul George, but his money is then rerouted to the league due to the suspension, correct?
So when Paul George gets his pay stub, it's going to say minus X amount.
League suspension.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
So why do they get out of the tax? The money's still being paid. Why is the team getting treated as though they're not paying it so they don't have to pay the luxury tax on that contract anymore?
You're thinking about it with the extra step of, hey, I'm Paul George. I got this money. Wait a second. Let me earmark some of this. This got to go back to the league. That's not how it works at all. His number, in essence, is lowered. The cap hit reflects how much he's getting paid in the same way that someone who has a non-guaranteed contract. It might show up as $20 million on the books throughout the pay period, and then he gets waived before the guarantee date. The new number now becomes whatever he got paid through the guarantee date, and the rest is gone because there's no question about it. It's not like, could it happen? If it could happen, if he could get paid, it's going to be on the books. In other words, you cannot have a cap hit for a player for salary that the player did not receive.
That is an incredible loophole. If only there was someone smart enough, maybe in a front office position, who could figure out how to exploit that.
Well,
Dork Elvis, as Bill Simmons once coined him.
I know a guy who knows something about loopholes.
It kind of feels like a moral hazard.
Have we led the horse to the water well enough?
I don't know.
I'm not saying this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not saying it.
Not saying it.
I'm just asking the question. There were a way for me to convince someone to take a fall that ultimately would result in them being refreshed for the playoff run, rehabbed of any knacking injury. Oh, and also for organizationally us to save money. Could I leverage that into a promise of reward down the line?
Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Let me say that again. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of.
Hello, listener. It's producer Maze here to talk to you about Quince Cookware. I don't know about you, but for me, it's stew season. I've been working on my game, making some hearty, saucy, brothy, and delicious stews with my professional-grade cast-iron Dutch oven from Quince. But let me tell you a little secret. It's actually affordable because with Quince, you're working directly with the factory, straight to the makers, no middlemen, no retail markup, no packaging costs, no fancy storefronts, no big marketing budgets, just quality cookware. Because a stew is only as good as the vessel containing it. So upgrade your kitchen at quince.com/dings for free shipping and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/dings, DINGS, quince.com/dings.
It's football season, and you can now get almost anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a running back delivered, but you can get baby back ribs delivered. A strong defense? No. A strong deodorant? Yes. A six-pack of abs? Nope. Six-pack of beer? Yes. Get almost anything for game day delivered with Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Alcohol 21 plus and in select cities. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
Well, the holidays have come and gone once again. But if you've forgotten to get that special someone in your life a gift, well, Mint Mobile is extending their holiday offer of half off unlimited wireless. So here's the idea. You get it now. You call it an early present for next year. What do you have to lose? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Limited time 50% off regular price for new customers. Upfront payment required. $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds may slow after 50 gigabytes per month when network is busy. See terms.
Holy cow, we have breaking news. Shams Charania reporting that the Memphis Grizzlies have traded Jaren Jackson Jr. to the Utah Jazz. You ready for this one? The Utah Jazz sent Walter Clayton Jr., Kyle Anderson, Taylor Hendricks, and George Niang, 3 first-round picks to the Memphis Grizzlies.
Okay.
For Jaren Jackson Jr., John Conchar, Jock Lawndale, and Vince Williams Jr. Okay. Did not see this coming, but off the rip. Utah is doing what? Don't they have a top 8 protected pick?
Yes, and they're currently 6th, according to tankathon.com.
Memphis is about to steal that pick from them. Just by virtue of this trade, they're saying, we're coming for it. And, oh, Dallas, you're trying to trade AD? Milwaukee, you're trying to trade Giannis? Charlotte, we don't have to worry about you anymore because you're the best team in the NBA all of a sudden. Memphis is trying to get into this draft so hard that it might actually take Utah's spot, and Utah might lose this pick.
Can I suggest something for Utah that perhaps would save them a little bit?
Don't say a PED. Don't say.
Oh, no. Mental health. It starts with the words mental health. Can you take Jaren Jackson Jr. without aggregating him and in the next 48 hours, flip him again? The reason why I don't think that's going to happen is because they gave up 3 firsts to make this happen. You give up 3 firsts, that tells me you actually like this guy and you want this guy.
So that they can throw out a front line of Lauri Markkanen, Triple J, and Walker Kessler.
Yes. 3 first-round picks is... Look, I get it. They had a surplus from the Donovan Mitchell and the Rudy Gobert deals.
Jake Fisher is reporting they're trading their most favorable 2027 first-round pick between Cleveland, Minnesota, and Utah. You can probably guess that Utah is going to have the most favorable there. So that is actually a pretty valuable pick there.
Yeah.
The Lakers 2027 first-round pick, which, depending how things go, it's probably going to be in the middle to late first round. And then Phoenix's 2031 first round pick to Memphis.
Could be anything.
I would say there's a good chance the 2027 Utah pick is a lottery pick. So they're trading what I would say 1.5 lottery picks to go get Jaren Jackson Jr. there.
I don't know if it's... I think...
Did you hurt your knee there, Amin?
You hurting your knee, Peter Griffin?
I think it's 2.5. Because I think both the Lakers and the Suns are 0.75 of a lottery pick.
You heard it here first.
2.25 at the least.
Memphis is, according to Bobby Marks, I tried this in Spot Rack, and it did not work. And so I got to talk to our guy, Keith, and see how this trade goes down. But Bobby Marks says, the Grizzlies have also created a massive $28.8 million trade exception in this deal, the largest ever in NBA. It tops the $28.5 million trade exception Boston created in the Gordon Hayward trade to Charlotte. So they're getting tons of cap relief in this deal. Utah takes on Jaren Jackson Jr., the 3 years in a row record of having the worst defense in NBA history.
It's in jeopardy.
Is now in jeopardy. I mean, you got Lauri Markkanen, who many people would like to have on their team, at the 3, Jaren Jackson Jr. at the 4, and Yusuf Nurkic at the 5. Walker Kessler at the 5.
Yeah. Well, at least he didn't have to rebound. Triple J. Somebody else can do that. They got other big guys to take care of that.
Lowry and Jaren Jackson Jr. don't have to rebound. So Walker Kessler, put it on the books, 20 rebounds a game next year.
I mean, you think this might be a trade before the trade for Utah, potentially. What about the trade before the trade for Memphis?
Oh, no, this isn't the trade before the trade for Memphis. Oh, you're talking about Ja.
I'm talking about Ja and this $28.8 million trade exception burning a hole in their pocket.
The trade exception, to me, is something for summertime. That's where you come in and you help other people get deals,
get under the cap, take picks on.
Compensation, yep. The job part is interesting because if you've got all this value now from two deals, really, from Desmond Bane last summer and Jaren Jackson here.
Which, as Bobby Marks also pointed out, gives them 13 firsts in the next 7 years, which is tied with Brooklyn and OKC now.
Hang a banner.
They will. All three of those teams.
You get to a place where you don't need what was once perceived to be equal value for Ja. You can just get something good. I don't need picks. I can do a Trae Young type deal now. I mean, I don't know. There's two ways to look at it. One way to look at it is he has value. Whatever that value once was, I need to get as close to that as possible. Be damned with what else I have because it's an individual transaction. The other way to look at it is it's not an individual transaction. I'm a billionaire. What's $20 to me? I dropped a $20 bill and I keep it moving. Who cares? I have a billion more. Interesting. I don't know. We're just finding this out right now.
Yeah, we're finding it out right now. And what I'm also finding out right now is that Utah and Memphis are playing each other this season 2 more times. One is February 20th, and then we also have April 10th, the penultimate game of the season for the Utah Jazz. Memphis Grizzlies, April 10th. Wow, that is going to be incredible because right now, according to Tankathon.com, Utah is in the 6th position in the draft lottery odds, with a 37% chance of having a top 4 pick in one of the most loaded top 5, top 4 drafts in NBA history. Utah is 5 games ahead of the Memphis Grizzlies. At 15-35, the Memphis Grizzlies are 19-29. They're in the 9th slot. So Memphis has the potential here the rest of the season to leap up to 6. That would triple their odds of getting a top 4 pick in this year's draft. So Memphis has a huge incentive now to lose as many games as possible going forward. Zach Edey with the foot issues all season, John Morant out the door, and you get basically nothing. Apologies to Walter Clayton Jr. and Taylor Hendricks, but they didn't get a legit starter caliber player in this trade for Jaren Jackson Jr. So the intent is get out the tank Commanders. Here we go, Memphis Grizzlies. If Utah plays Jaren Jackson Jr. the rest of the season, they might lose a couple spots here, and Milwaukee's going to be ahead of them maybe, and Dallas. So, Amin, I know the NBA is not thrilled with all the tanking talk. I guess they're not thrilled at the information gaps that comes with tanking. But is Jaren Jackson Jr. too good for them to maintain this pick? Because right now, they're just a few wins away from having Milwaukee, Dallas, and Memphis knock them out of that top 8.
Well, I would start first and foremost by pointing out that with Jaren Jackson Jr., the Grizzlies haven't exactly set the world on fire.
True.
While we can celebrate and accept him as a talented player, he should help some of Utah's biggest deficiencies. Is he going to save the Jazz season? Is he going to save it to the tune of them winning more than what they've been winning thus far? The big thing here, you look at Milwaukee, Dallas, and Indiana. Because Indiana, for some reason, has been playing better lately. Is there a way that you can still be in that mix? Depending on what happens to Giannis, Milwaukee either helps your situation if you're Utah or hurts it dramatically.
Are Markkanen and Jaren Jackson Jr. really going to play the rest of this year and jeopardize?
Oh, you think they shut down and that's it and don't even have to worry about it? That's what you think?
I mean,
I don't know if it'd be that brazen.
This is nuts, dude. This is nuts. This is crazy that the Utah Jazz did this with a top 8 protected pick going to Oklahoma City if it falls outside of the top 8 in a loaded. AJ DeBonsa is in this draft. He's at Utah. He's in Provo.
Yep.
And you just traded for a defensive player of the year guy who is going to help you shore up your defense if he plays the rest of the season. I am stunned by this trade.
But Tom, I go back to this. Fucking play him. It didn't fucking help Memphis. What makes you think he's going to help Utah? Like, all of a sudden, they're going to win 100 games in a row. He literally can be a good building block piece to acquire. Yeah, go ahead. Knock yourself out. Play him. It ain't going to make a difference. It really comes down to what's happening around them. I don't think they're going to surge in a way that's going to upend the apple cart. And then Milwaukee becomes the tipping point, really. Because if Giannis doesn't get traded, we know that Giannis has basically said, I'm not going to get shut down. If I'm healthy, I'm playing. And if he plays, we know they're a 500 team when he plays. They'll be better than Utah down the stretch, regardless of whether Jaren Jackson plays or not.
I don't think Giannis plays another game for the Milwaukee Bucks. I think it's over.
I'm saying he's playing.
He's going to try, but I think medical is not going to clear him.
It's a calf strain. It's not the end of the world. He's going to play.
Okay, well, since he is in charge of the medical team there. So
yeah.
Got his PhD.
They're their own men.
He's set.
They work for him.
There's no timetable. No timetable.
This seems to me like this is Danny Ainge saying, I like this price.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to give up my best picks. I can go get not a superstar player, but a very good player. This is a buy reasonable price. This isn't going to change the future of the Jazz, and he doesn't think that it'll compromise their pick this year.
That's what I think. This is a good guy, a good player to have. The price sounds gaudier than it actually is. I didn't give up any players that I actually like, and I don't think he alone can change the course of history and have us sending our pick out because we fell to ninth, unless the thing that's happened the last couple of years on the lottery happens again.
Oh.
Just someone who has no business
jumping.
They jump and then everything pushes down.
This is one of Amin's favorite games here is going back into the 2018 draft and realizing Jaren Jackson Jr., is he the last one to switch teams?
Mm-hmm.
DeAndre Ayton.
Gone.
Marvin Bagley. Luka.
Gone.
Trae Young. Now gone.
If you want to be technical, both of those guys were gone on draft day.
Mo Bamba, Wendell Carter Jr.
Gone.
Colin Sexton, Kevin Knox, Mikal Bridges.
Gone.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Gone.
Gone.
Miles Bridges.
Miles Bridges.
Michael Porter Jr. also off the list now.
Gone.
Dante DiVincenzo off the list. Kevin Huerter off the list. Josh Koji. Grayson Allen. Anthony Simons also gone.
Miles Bridges is your winner. Last man standing. Every single first round pick.
That's it.
The 7-year itch.
7-year switch. Did the Clippers have any picks in that 2018 draft? Oh, that's right. They had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's now gone to OKC and won a championship and a MVP. So now we have Law Murray of The Athletic, covers the Clippers and the NBA for The Athletic. Truth Teller, returning to the show.
You all think I'm licked. Well, I'm not licked. And I'm going to stay right here and fight for this lost cause, even if this room gets filled with lies like these. And the Taylors and all their armies come marching into this place. Somebody will listen to me.
There's no better way to overpower a trickle of doubt than with a flood of naked truth.
But the complexity and the gray lie not in the truth, but what you do with the truth once you have it.
What is true and right is true and right for all.
You and I both know that that's just not the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
It's too messy. Keeps them up night.
I'm here because in the end, the truth is worth the risk.
Speak a little truth and people lose their minds.
I'm a grown man, you can tell me the truth.
Why is it people who want the truth never believe it when they hear it?
So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something really outrageous. I'm going to tell the truth.
We are live doing this. It is Tuesday, 12:30 Eastern, and we got Law Murray from The Athletic, the LA Clippers beat reporter, guy who knows more about the Clippers than just about anybody on planet Earth, man. An incredible NBA reporter, has been on both sides, editing and also reporting, and he is here to break down all things James Harden trying to get his way out of LA again. So, I mean, why don't you just kick things off?
All right, let's just start with, how long has this been a thing?
Today's Tuesday, so let's just put it this way: the LA Clippers they played in Denver Friday night. James played in that game, and they get to Phoenix Saturday, and they had their social media with James at Arizona State. You know, and that was very, very public. We had an injury report out on Saturday that did not list James as being on it at all. You know, we were expecting him to play Sunday in Phoenix. Mind you, I'm in New York right now covering the Lakers because that's my job this year too. And I'm not going to say anything more about that than that. But I'm getting ready to see the Brooklyn Nets. So, you know, I had a red eye Friday night, you know, and I woke up Saturday morning in New York on the East Coast. So there was no indication that this was relevant until Sunday when James was a game day downgrade to out due to personal reasons. Now, again, I was in Phoenix in November when the Clippers visited, and James missed that game due to personal reasons. But, you all saw the Netflix little thing that they had with the starting five, rest in peace, that James was in love and whatnot. So, that personal reasons was kind of expected and understood. This was different. But I will say that the last point of normalcy, I think, was when we all woke up Sunday morning. If you want to frame
16-3, Law. 16-3.
I could not imagine a smoother time for the Clippers. It's like, wow, we got past all that Chris Paul shit. Everyone blamed us and said, you guys are losers. Now we're winning. Both the guys, our star players, are playing, and they're playing well. He's not even, correct me if I'm wrong, he's not extension eligible.
No.
He's not extension eligible, which
what the fuck happened?
I can't tell you how many times I've had to say that because what winds up happening with trade reports is, everyone gets excited about what they're hearing from what agent or what front office or whoever has a real clear bend to do what they want to do, and they stop thinking for themselves. So again, not mentioning anyone specifically, this is the narrative that's going around. I can't tell you how many DMs, how many people in my mentions are like, oh my God, did you know? It's like, this is the history of James Harden. You know what I mean? It's shocking because of the magnitude and the forum and where we are, but everyone just gets excited about any little thing, and they, stop using common sense after a while. It's not really that complicated to me. James has always been great about not just asking for a trade. That's basic little league stuff. James is a big league trade evaluator. He doesn't just request trades. He knows who you're trading to get on his team. That's the thing about it. He is identifies guys.
He's a GM. He's a GM. He's architecting, like saying, I not only do I want to trade, but I've got the perfect trade partner here that will be a win-win for both sides. Let's get it done.
Exactly. And anytime you're talking about both sides, Tom, you're talking about both sides out of both sides of your mouth. So you just want what you want at the end of the day, and for the team you're leaving, you're just like, good luck. It's been real, that's what it is. Like, that's what it was in Philadelphia when it came time for Ben Simmons to get moved, that's what happened. That's how James got to the Clippers in the first place. He saw an opportunity and was like, well, this will work out for me at some point. The rest of y'all are going to have to figure this out. Paul George, new team. Russell Westbrook, sorry, pal. You lost your starting job.
I guess what every other stop where this has happened, there was some sort of buildup that we saw coming. Leaving Oklahoma City, they can't pay everybody. I want to get paid. Also, I think I'm a star player, not just little brother. And then it culminates with okay, gets traded to Houston. Houston, they compete. They're almost there. Then they do deals, and it starts to fall apart. They do more deals. It falls apart more. Like, hey, this is a sinking ship. Get me out of here. Goes to Brooklyn. Everything's great. It's me. It's Kyrie. It's KD. But, people are hurt, and I didn't sign up to be the only guy. I signed up to be one of the guys. Also, Kyrie's kind of crazy. Get me out of here. Philly, I got to would be Daryl. It's up. But, hey, we keep losing, and everyone's blaming me and saying I'm a choke artist, and Daryl doesn't want to pay me. Get me out of here. The Clipper situation, I'm not surprised that he wants out. I'm surprised that it seems like it happened over the last 72 hours.
Here's the thing.
There's no part of it where it's like, hey, pay me. Like, we're not even at the paying people stage of the conversation. Hey, we're terrible. Well, actually, we've won 18 of our last 21 games. Every kind of, hey, averaging 25 and 8. Every part of this seems to be, I'm not saying it's the best situation in the world, but trending in a positive manner that if this had happened earlier in the season, like you said, when they came in November, and he said, all right, I get it. He's like, oh, this is a sinking ship. Let me get out. But it's like, it feels like they fixed everything, or at least well enough.
I mean, you've been talking to Pablo all season. Like,
okay.
There's always, James is great at identifying the Titanic and figuring out which one of the lifeboats he gonna be on. And what I thought was interesting was a certain thing happened Saturday that, we had to chew on. The Cleveland Cavaliers traded DeAndre Hunter. And that was a trade that we all know the money situation in Cleveland. I think they got the most expensive roster coming into the season. So, you can talk about, hey, what's the best situation? The best situation might be to just dig in and win some games. And James and Kawhi were able to do that with the Clippers over these last 6-7 weeks. But you don't have a trade destination, that might be the best thing. But now if you have a legitimate pathway to go to somewhere where you think it's going to work out for you, and when I mean you, I mean this is really about what works for James, not what works for everybody else involving with the LA Clippers. I really feel like getting some movement on that was something that changed. The calculus changed on that over the weekend, like back in November when the Clippers were bottoming out in a spectacular way. It was still like it's early in the season and now these teams don't really have formed identities yet. There's time to figure things out. And I think James and Kawhi, the effort that they put in was reflected in the situation that they were in. Those dudes had to try hard. Here's the other thing I know about James. James is good at trying hard, but only for a finite period of time. We saw it last year with the Clippers. I'm going to get this thing off to a good start. Kawhi's going to come back and I need to take a breather. And then they finished the season with a flourish. They won 18 out of their last 21 games. And they needed every one of those 18 wins to stay out of the play-in tournament and secure a playoff spot. You saw how much that took out of James by the playoffs. As that series against the Nuggets went on, he declined every single game except for game 6, which is the first time that the Clippers were facing elimination. And even after game 6, James stood up there with an absolutely great coat on in 60-degree LA weather, mind you. And we just knew it wasn't going to happen again for game 7. Bradley Beal is on this team. I mean, I'm sure you recognize Bradley Beal from his time in the Phoenix arena where, they were at this time last year trying to get him out of there. And Brad's like, I got a no trade clause, bro. I'm straight. Like Bradley Beal was supposed to fix things for this Clippers team, and they lost him to a fractured hip before he could play a single fourth quarter minute on this team. And when I say things got hard, yes, this effort was outstanding, but James is like, I could put up this effort for another 30 games just to say I made the playoffs, or I could do the James Harden thing. And the James Harden thing is, again, it's not just about a trade. It's not just about a contract that you can't get this season. It's about where can I go to make it easier to have the aura of possibly winning a championship. But if I'm not winning a championship, I'm at least going to make sure that I'm taken care of in a situation that needs me. And that is what James is looking at. When things get tight with the timeline and you only got a few days, it's a lot easier to make things shake the way you want them to go.
Can I ask you, Law, if I name 3 variables that have changed over the last week, and you tell me which one actually, if you could rank, helped us get to where we are right now? 1, last week, Lawrence Frank agreed to an extension. 2, the Cavs traded and got $50 million in salary relief and got Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder. 3, James Harden and Kawhi Leonard did not make the All-Star team at the Intuit Dome. And therefore, James Harden is not going to be a representative for the Clippers at the Intuit Dome, and he doesn't have to, represent the organization that way. What is any of those things had the biggest impact on why, as of Tuesday morning, we're hearing that James Harden is, as of this moment, not yet traded to the Cavs, but in serious talks with the Cavs to be traded to Cleveland?
Well, I would say Cleveland's trade is one, and the other 2 are like several levels below that. But I'll say that the organization's decisions are above anything related to All-Star. Like, who gives a damn about All-Star? Quite honestly, James has only been an All-Star once out of the last 4 years. This is not anything new. Kawhi's only been an All-Star once out of the last 5, So I don't think I don't think guys really care about, James doesn't care about stuff like that. I really don't. And I'm only putting, the organization's direction above that because, again, it is relevant that we're talking about the, stability of the Clippers organization. That is in flux. I think you have to look at those things. The relationship has to work. I don't think there's a complete total relationship breakdown between James and the Clippers front office. I really just think this is about James being an opportunist and doing what James does. I don't think this has as much to do with the Clippers, to be honest with you. It's about where he would want to go. I think that is the biggest thing here.
LinkedIn is pretty great at a lot of things, like helping you tap into the latest trends and insights in your field. We cannot stop your coworker from tapping her pencil. LinkedIn can help you find new jobs that align with your career goals. We cannot help you find the source of that weird smell in the office fridge. Ew. And while we can't stop your coworkers from bringing their hobbies into the office, LinkedIn can help you bring your career to the next level. LinkedIn is the network that works for you.
Why not Clipperland? Because they can't offer an extension, but no one can. Right. No one can. So it's really just like a backhanded backroom agreement that we will give you your bag at the end of this season. There's a guarantee portion of this conversation that we should get into. But to your knowledge, Law, has there been kind of the Daryl Morey said one thing and then he's saying another, and I'm going to come out and call Lawrence Frank a liar? Is that the potential for that? Because the only way I can fathom why he's all of a sudden trying to force his way out the door to Cleveland is that he learned that the Clippers aren't willing to commit long term, or maybe it really simply is that he found a team in the Cleveland Cavaliers that might be able to commit long term. Yeah, and
tampering is a funny thing. Again, going back to Amin's conversations with our guy Pablo, I don't know if people realize how inspirational certain things are when it comes to players making sure that they get paid in any way possible. Like, there's a lot that happens there. So just like we all knew the contract that James signed over the offseason, right? Like, it was a mutual kind of like opt-in where he signed a deal where if he opted in, and you'd only opt in to protect your bag situation, it triggers, and you alluded to this, Tom, it basically triggers a partial guarantee for a very finite time. July 11th is the date where a team, if he were to opt in, whether it's the Clippers or somewhere he gets traded to, can basically release him, and he gets his $13 million as a little takeaway while he enters unrestricted free agency that way. So it's a very, they agreed to that.
Is it July 11th it becomes fully guaranteed, right?
July 11th is when it becomes fully guaranteed. In other words, you have until July 11th
to walk away at 13 mil.
Right. In other words, it's a player option that basically becomes like a team option.
Team option almost.
That way. You know what I mean? Like,
so he's 42 million player option that he can pick up. And then the team can say, hey, we actually don't want you around. So we're going to waive you and then have a $13 million cap hit we can stretch. But really it's $13 million on the books for next season. So that's really what's at stake here, right?
Exactly. And again, James knew this. James has sacrificed money so many times. It's always been a theme. So when you talk about what happened with Daryl Morey in Philadelphia, it's like, look, James signed a contract, helped get dudes like PJ Tucker and Daniel House signed. The Sixers got penalized for it, okay? And those penalties influenced the Philadelphia 76ers silence going into James's free agency after the 2023 season. That pissed James off, but what pissed James off was he thought he had money elsewhere in the league that he couldn't get because of a move that was made in the head coaching position. That basically set James' clock back a little bit. So he had to put on the full Jane Lynch, I'm going to make things uncomfortable situation. That's a spot we're not at now, but watch Thursday. If this doesn't get done, and I'm not here to say that this is a certainty at this rate. I'm not tied to anybody to say that right now. Maybe it gets done, but if it doesn't get done, then we're going to see how uncomfortable this gets.
Well, that's the funny part about this, is that as outrageous as this situation feels, it also feels like not a bad deal for both sides. If you're the Cavs, you're the only second apron team. You've got a lot of money towards Darius Garland, who, beyond the durability issues, also there's always a persistent question of, can he and Donovan Mitchell really take you far in a playoff run, being two undersized guards, right? Get Harden, he gives you more size. I think he's better defensively than people give him credit for. And at his age, we can expect that his salary is not going to continue to rise the way Garland's is going to rise for the foreseeable future. And it won't be as long, it won't be as high. It's not that he's going to be peanuts, it's just more manageable. For the Clippers, I get a guy who's 10 years younger. I have to, he's got some injury issues early in his career, but it's like, how much longer do we have with James? I get younger. I get a guy who clearly has an elite skill set. And then, man, we'll see how it goes from there, but at least we kind of reset or recalibrate where we're headed over the next 3 or 4 years. And I have to imagine you don't have to deal with this headache anymore of, Captain ditch the Titanic looking for a lifeboat.
Yeah. Darius Garland is the kind of player that you trade for and you got to pray it works out. You're talking about an undersized, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to Darius in any way here. We're just comparing it to what you had with James.
Mm-hmm.
After this season doesn't matter. I don't know who's going to be on the Clippers after this season. And that's the way the Clippers set it up. Look at the contracts. Nobody beyond, if this is Zubats, because Vitzel will be there forever. Nobody is committed to this team beyond 2027. Okay. Kawhi, again, who knows what his contract situation is going to wind up being when this whole thing is said and done. So if you want to look at Darius Garland, that's a hard sell to your fan base, to everybody except maybe your head coach, because Tyronn Lue likes small guards. But even that front office has long said they're not big fans of small guards. They would rather have big playmakers and then complementary combo guards with some size that doesn't compromise what you do on defense. Darius, it's not just that he's a small guard. It's that the age thing doesn't hit the same when you're not a supreme athlete and you have availability issues to go on top of just the fact that Darius is just not the same kind of player that James is. So you can say, hey, if this is the best you can do, sure, but you're also going to want to see if Cleveland can throw in a better draft compensation situation as well. I don't know if that's going to happen. And that's why I say it's not just about player for player. We got to see what else the Clippers would want to really feel satisfied about bringing Darius Garland in, because Darius Garland alone is not enough to make this worth your time.
Flip side, what is the market for James Harden outside of Cleveland?
Outside of Cleveland is hard. Like, that's why I didn't think James would get traded, to be honest with you. James is a very heliocentric basketball player that if if you already have that kind of a player, take the Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards plays James Harden basketball. He really does. Who's the point guard in Minnesota? Mike Conley doesn't start anymore, and Dante DiVincenzo is the kind of guard that I was just describing that the Clippers like to have in that spot. It's the same thing. Chris Finch coached James Harden in Houston, so he knows it's the same kind of system. A lot of threes, a lot of paint. Anthony Edwards likes to talk about mid-range now, but he's allowed to take those shots just like James was allowed to take those shots. Nobody else is allowed to really take those shots, right? Like, it's the same thing. So it's like when you're adding a James, you're not if you're a bad team, you're not adding them. And if you're a team that has all of your stuff together, OKC, for instance, not saying that they'd be, but it's like OKC's like, we don't need that guy. We have our guy, and we're straight with look at our record. The Lakers, for instance, they have Luka. They have their James Harden. There's a dwindling number of teams that can really say that we need a James Harden. We can get a James Harden, and James Harden will help us, and we don't have to blow our stuff up, take a loss in the standings, figuring it out for it to be worth their time. I thought that this would be a off-season conversation. If it happens now, it's just going to be a matter of you're probably going to have some pennies on the dollar here because you don't have enough time to really think this out and make this worth everybody's time. It's worth James' time, and it might be worth Cleveland's time because, yeah, James Harden is a way better player than Darius Garland. And after this season, who cares? Like, for the Clippers, yeah, you don't have a great market for James Harden. That's why you're about to lose a trade if you make one.
Let me ask you this. You alluded to it earlier. So coaching change in Houston or somewhere changed the calculus for James Harden on where he wanted to go out of Philadelphia. Let's say Ime Udoka is not the coach of Houston. And let's just say JB Bickerstaff in a weird circle comes back to Houston and is the head coach for the Houston Rockets currently. Is James Harden forcing his way to Houston right now and retiring in Houston or trying to finish things out in Houston? Because everyone's like, oh, well, if it's not Cleveland, then Houston. And for those who don't know, Ime Udoka, when he was hired for the coaching job in Houston, suddenly the James Harden rumors stopped. So how much is the Ime Udoka factor in Houston cut off that avenue for a potential landing spot for James Harden?
I think it's more than something. You know, I don't want to say it's everything because, I mean, shoot, I'm here in New York. I remember 3 years ago when Kyrie Irving was, you know, that situation came together really quick as well. All of a sudden, you know, the Nets get blown out by 50 or something. Kyrie's not playing. Trade rumors happen. And I'm like, there's no way the Clippers would want him after what happened with Tyronn Lue, right? No, that was an assumption that was incorrect because Tyronn, in the desperate point guard situation that the Clippers were in with John Wall and Reggie Jackson at the time, it was like, yeah, please give me Kyrie Irving. You know, I would be cool with that. Things can always work out in relationship wise. I just saw Chris Paul play for the Clippers for a month this season. You know what I'm saying? But why I think it matters is because of the culture Ime Udoka. Like, that was what it was. Houston was the most runnerless organization in the NBA when James left. This is what happens when you lose James Harden. You don't get better, okay? So Ime Udoka was the defensive coordinator of the Brooklyn Nets with Kevin Durant there, with Kyrie Irving there, with James there. And I remember Ime came to visit the Clippers as the Celtics head coach. And I asked a question about what's it like being a head coach running your defense as opposed to just being the quote unquote defensive coordinator. And Ime made a comment about, you know, in Brooklyn, certain guys didn't want to work too hard, you know, so it's a little bit better to establish that as a head coach with where he was at then. So everyone knew who that comment was referring to when he made it. Everyone in the room looked at me and was like, you can handle that one, Law. You know, this was way back in the 21-22 season. Now, again, 2023, James knew he was probably on the outs in Philadelphia, and we all were talking about, oh, he'll go back to Houston, get his bag. They have money available. They hire Ime, and who gets that money? Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet is still on the Rockets. He is inactive. He has a torn ACL, and they're still talking about Fred as if he is basically Ime Udoka's assistant coach or something. Like, he still matters on that team. Who are you trading to get James Harden? Who are you giving up? Who are you? What are you trying to do? And yes, I think if Ime wasn't there, James probably would be in Houston today. Ime Udoka is there, and Kevin Durant's there, and Fred VanVleet's there. I don't think Houston is a real possibility this week for James Harden.
How much does aspiration and that scandal factor into all of these happenings?
I think it's one of those things where you can't dismiss it. Like, there's a uncertain air of what is going to happen with everybody involved from the basketball operations when it comes to this. It's like, we got to see what the conclusion is going to be. We got to see when it's going to be. You know, next weekend, All-Star weekend, being at that building and Intuit Dome, it's going to be a topic of conversation. Like, Adam Silver's going to get asked about it. Everybody's there's going to get asked about it. You know, like, that's just going to be a relevant thing. You got to think about, if you're a player, where's your money coming from, and what's the stability, who's making the decisions, all that. All those things are on the table as far as the possible consequences here. The star player, the general manager, the head of the head personnel executive, even the owner. Like, no one can say for sure what's going to happen or not happen there. And so I think you have to consider that when it comes to, say you're James Harden, and again, you're in the twilight of your career, but also still playing at a high level. You know that you can get your bag, but you also know that you're trying to do the one thing you haven't done, and that's win the damn championship. And, you know, you can work your ass off and be in an uncertain situation this off season, or you can try and force your hand because you know exactly where you might want to go. I think I can't say it's not insignificant or it's irrelevant.
I just posted on Yahoo Sports, just published, how the Cavs can land James Harden, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and this summer get LeBron James and Bronny.
Nah,
is that crazy? Is that crazy?
That is crazy.
Why is that crazy?
Because they can't aggregate.
They can if they send out Max Strus's contract to Brooklyn. So they have to get under the tax, and Brooklyn has just enough money, or it's not under the tax, but under the second apron.
Second apron.
Find someone to take $14 million and Max Strus. And this was proposed at ESPN by Kevin Pelton, our guy, the machine. He proposed this trade: Evan Mobley to Milwaukee with Lonzo Ball's contract, wipe it off the books. A young player from Brooklyn, just like a random guy in Brooklyn to satisfy the trade that every party has to get something. A first round pick from the Cavs, and then you route Thanasis and Giannis to the Cavs, Darius Garland to the Clippers for James Harden, and then this summer, LeBron James says, "I'm coming back home," and that is feasible under the CBA. And that might be the grand plan for the Cleveland Cavaliers, is we can get not only James Harden, but if we're going to get a commitment from Giannis Antetokounmpo in a trade, we got to figure out a way to have someone reliable enough. I know James Harden has his postseason foibles, of course, but can Milwaukee get a commitment from, can the Cavs get a commitment from Giannis Antetokounmpo right now as is? As the roster is constructed right now, you're not going to trade all of those assets to get Giannis if you don't get a commitment on a long-term extension, right? Does James Harden change that calculus? Yes or no?
I feel like he has to. Like, you gotta. I think it's like this: if you're a big, you love playing with James. Everybody else has to make adjustments. Everybody else. So. That's a lot of things that can happen for a Cleveland team that genuinely does not have these things happen as clearly as we're making it out to, unless it involves prime LeBron James. So I think, like I said, there's every incentive for James to get to Cleveland before any of the other stuff could happen. Like, there's a lot of moving parts here, a lot of moving musical chairs here. As Kevin Garnett and Matt Barnes say, you don't get infinite wiggles. So as good as James is, man, and I give a lot of credit to James Harden, because James Harden has put himself in a position to still be worthy of these conversations. Like, you got to give him credit. He hasn't fallen off or declined to a point where he is not a star anymore. He's still that dude. And so, but if you're James, it's like, yeah, the priority for him, he's got to do things before other stuff can get done that boxes him out from the things that he would want.
Law, you've given us some excellent analysis and insight. I want to get a little silly here because I was very distracted by this photo that they chose for the graphic, and it reminded me a little too much of the Anthony Mackie face. And I just want to know, what does James Harden know in this picture? What is he conveying with this expression hidden under the beard? Is it that he knows that the Clippers, the future is not bright? Is that he's thinking about the extension from the Cavaliers? What do you make of this James Harden expression?
Someone told me once that beards are makeup for men. Man, why y'all do that to
a bunch of
Anthony
bearded
Mackie?
guys laugh at that.
Because he ain't got no beard.
Yeah, Anthony, you set me up, man. You set me up right now.
Yeah,
I'm just glad that if they were going to use that graphic, that they used the actual Clippers uniform. Like, I can't tell you how many photoshops, how many graphics, tweet graph or quote graphics, whatever, and they're using the Clippers 2015 jerseys, which were one of the worst thought out uniforms of the 21st century. So, you know, at least they got the Visit Rwanda current patch that they have going on, you know?
Well, as someone who wrote a story when the Clippers got James Harden 3 years ago that said, hey, congratulations to the Clippers. You got James Harden. Now, where's his next trade request going to be? It has come true that he hasn't formally made a trade request. But at any point, did you scoff at me, Law, to think James Harden is going to be a Clipper for life? He's not going to ask out of this situation. Man. Or were you all along being like, man, he's done this 3 times already. This is who he is. A tiger doesn't change his stripes. James Harden at some point is going to want out of this situation or pave a path for him to get out. Did you think that he was going to be a Clipper for life, or did you expect him to go somewhere else?
Yeah, it's like, look, James said back in 2024, and I'm not talking about Media Day 2024, you know, he said this when the Clippers were still playing in those uniforms, like that he wanted, because he had an event, I want to say it was March 2024, and he was talking about retiring as a Clipper. And like, we all knew that was cap. Like, that's the thing you say when you feeling good and you feeling connected and everything. But someone close to James, you know, we were in Houston the beginning of last season for a mini series, and James was about to get to second place on the all-time 3-point list, right? And we were like, man, James, every other game, you know, he passing some kind of list, whether it's scoring or steals or assists or threes. Every other game, we're asking him, hey, James, what does it feel like to pass Alex English on? It's like, James does not care. He wants a ring. And someone told me, it was like, listen, man, all this stuff don't matter to James. He just wants a championship. Well, guess who is not really in a position to win a championship? Yeah. The team that you say that you're trying to retire with. So if you're trying to win a championship, that means your options are open. And you are always looking to see where the best place is to increase your chances of at least pretending like you're going to win a championship, because only one team's going to win it. And that one team is probably going to get an asterisk from Tom at the end of the season. So right. If you're going to say that is your priority, you are not retiring with anybody. You're retiring after you can reassess that retirement plan after the league has pushed you out or you got your ring or both. And so, no, like, I never took it serious and I covered it accordingly.
I mean, who's the best player to never have his jersey retired or have a statue?
Well, a lot of people say it's going to be Kevin Durant.
Is it James Harden is my question.
Well, no, I think Kevin Durant's going to be the guy.
Well, Kevin's going to get his jersey retired by Golden State. They've already said that.
That's what they say. That's what they say. I don't know if that's actually going to happen.
James already has his jersey retired in certain establishments, though. So that's
he does.
Hey, that's it.
Yes, he does. Be live. Shout out to. I'm trying to think who else. Who's the other guy that was? See, the problem is the economics of guys moving around a lot, not just moving, but moving a lot, is a fairly recent phenomenon. Right? Most guys, even when they got moved, it's only a couple times in their career or happen after long stints with a franchise. Whereas Harden and Durant are really the first ones to bounce around. I mean, Moses Malone bounced around, but he got his jersey retired in Houston and he got his jersey retired in Philly.
All right, let's do this real quick. Top 20 win shares all time. Bill Russell, check. Moses Malone, check. Kobe, check. Reggie Miller, check.
Check.
Charles Barkley,
check. Twice over.
David Robinson,
check.
James Harden's 14th all time.
Okay.
Shaq,
check. 3 times over.
Kevin Durant,
remains to be seen, but the Warriors promise us they're going to do it. So,
Oscar Robertson,
check.
Yeah.
KG,
check. Probably twice over. Check.
Tim Duncan,
check.
John Stockton, Michael Jordan,
check.
And then number 5 all time in win shares. Win shares GOAT, Chris Paul.
Oh, yeah. There's one. Maybe Pelican? No, Hornets, I mean.
It's going to get done with the Clippers, man, at some point.
Wow. Even after this year.
Yeah. It's going to,
wow. Would you accept it?
Chris Paul has seen so much crazy stuff that even though his significant other flipped the bird at the Intuit Dome after he was dismissed from the team and posted that, I believe that it will get done at some point. It might be a Kevin Garnett situation, but it'll get done in a reasonable amount of time.
Here's a name for you, Tom.
Yep.
Gary Payton.
I mean, I think
he's not as high on the list as those other guys, but jersey remains unretired. Now part of that's
Gary
his
decision.
Have a home. Yes, that's his decision. He is forbidden Oklahoma City from.
Yeah, if we get a franchise in Seattle, which should have been done already,
I mean,
that'll happen there for sure.
It is pretty crazy to think, but they're all in the same era. KD, James Harden, Chris Paul we're all question marks on whether they get a jersey retired or a statue. These
are all new. This is all new, man.
Yeah.
Gary Payton's an interesting one, but for the reasons you laid out. What a 24 hours. But I gotta say, this has gotta have felt like 4 seasons for you, Law, right? It's the aspiration scandal. It's the 6-21 start. Chris Paul, I guess you wrap that into that, which is season number 2. Season number 3 is the winning streak. Season number 4 is James Harden asking out, if you want to call it that.
We're not even at All-Star break.
We're not even at All-Star break. So prediction market says over under 6.5 seasons this season. Law, what say you? Taking the over or the under on 6.5 seasons for 1 season for the Clippers?
Shit, man. I feel like Vince Carter. I got one more in me. So whatever it is, you gotta take. It's gonna be the over. There's always something right around the corner, man. There's always a game where it's like, oh shoot, he landed wrong. Somebody's feelings got hurt. Whatever. Like this time last year, man, I was just looking at a Clippers team that traded PJ Tucker. I mean, PJ Tucker was dominating trade conversations this year. Like, we go from that to Chris Paul. At least it's a little bit more appropriate. You know what I'm saying? You guys know this, and me, you know this. Like, I'm a veteran when it comes to Clipper shenanigans. Like, I never get comfortable. Like, I posted my Aura ring overnight, and I was like, I don't know how your boy got any kind of sleep out here. I don't know how that happened.
You remind me of Jason Jones. Jason Jones, who went from covering the Raiders to covering the Sacramento Kings. And it's just like, you know, I said this to Jason years ago. I said, I can't imagine you covering a good organization, like a good, stable, winning organization. I think his head would explode.
Yeah, but Jason, a Dodgers fan, so, you know, that's what keeps him whole. I'm from Philadelphia, so this is all I've known my whole life.
Not an Eagles fan?
I'm an Eagles fan when it suits me. I'm not ever going to be a fan of these organizations and franchises, man, unless they paying me.
Yeah.
Like other than that, I'm not worried about being a supporter of one team. Just beat the Dallas Cowboys. That's all I care about.
We can all get behind that.
Yeah.
Law Murray from The Athletic. Appreciate you always coming on with us. I would like to say you're off the hook and not going to come again on the show anytime soon. We'll take a little break, but we know it's the Clippers. So 2 more seasons left in the season.
Hey, yeah, I was going to say seasons 5 through 7 still on coming.
Exactly. And unfortunately, y'all can't binge watch this one. It's going to be live as it happens. I'll catch you guys on the flip side.